John Wall officially wants out of Washington. The longtime Wizards star has had an up and down time with the team as injuries have prevented him from unlocking his peak potential. The Wizards have been holding out hope that once Wall was healthy, that the backcourt duo of him and Bradley Beal would be restored. But now Washington needs to make some phone calls and see who's in the market for an ex-All-Star that once showed incredible promise. For a lot of reasons, however, the market for Wall might not be as big as he thinks it is. First of all, once it's made known to the public that he wants out, the Wizards lose a lot of leverage going into trade discussions. But aside from this, Wall just hasn't been on the court lately, and Achilles injuries are a big deal for players who rely on their explosiveness. Before I go into why getting a decent trade for Wall might be difficult, I want to say that he was a great player not too long ago. We haven't even seen his comeback tour yet. This is by no means supposed to be a diss video, we're truly just going over the facts of the situation. For one, Wall's game isn't exactly conducive to today's NBA. Questions about his shooting consistency have followed him for his entire career. He was always able to make up for this with his supreme athleticism, but after multiple knee injuries and a heel injury that became infected after surgery, which then became an Achilles tear after a slip in his home, it's reasonable to believe that he won't have that same first step and vertical ability he used to have. Every year that passes in the last decade of NBA basketball, it becomes a bigger deal for a point guard not being able to shoot the ball. This is a big reason for why Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons are so heavily scrutinized, and the sad part is that if either of those players existed in the early 2000s, there wouldn't be any problems. With the landscape of the league changing so fast around them, many feel like their games, though still statistically effective, are generally archaic. Even big men are usually expected to be able to shoot nowadays, and if you can't, you're reduced down to a rim runner and a shot blocker. Wall had a lot of Westbrook in him before his injuries. He was the best athlete on the floor, could facilitate well, and attack the basket with a vengeance. But are teams going to give up star players, young talent, or first-round draft picks for the chance that Wall is going to be close to the player he was 2 years ago? Wall coming back and shooting better than 30% from 3 is equally as much of a question. He's had a lot of time to develop his shot further in the gym, but he would have to change up his whole approach to the game to integrate more modern techniques like step-back threes. For a lot of reasons, Wall's just in a tough, kind of in-between spot in the trade market. He's good enough where you need to give up a lot to get him. He's also making over $40 million for the next 3 years, which is pretty much a crippling contract to take on. But he's also not complete enough of a player to give up assets and your flexibility for the next few years. Like I said before, I by no means feel like Wall is a bum or he can't play. He showed a lot in the 2010s and could by all means prove me wrong and return at full strength. But if we're being brutally honest, the odds are stacked against him to do so. And because of this, it is quite possible that getting a worthwhile trade for him will be extremely difficult. So will Wall be traded? It's up to the Wizards to evaluate how much they're willing to compromise on a trade deal. Also, they'll have to find a team willing to take on his contract in a time where people are trying to unload their payrolls to get a superstar in the 2021 offseason. Now, it won't be easy, but whatever team he suits up for in December, I think we're all rooting for him to be the John Wall of the past, or even better.